On the 14th of December 2017, Reddit user She's Such a Riot made a post about a bizarre and unnerving experience they had many years ago. The post read, "Humans walking in hamster wheels. When I was about 16, I came home from hanging with friends. I was a huge cartoon fan, still am. Grabbed some food and settled into my bed to watch Nickelodeon. I knew it was Nick because it was the last channel I watched that day, and no one shared the TV in my room. So I turn it on to see this creepy black, white, and gray scene where hundreds of nude humans are walking in a line over these hills in the background towards these giant hamster wheels in the front of the scene. They're walking towards the wheels as a few people are already in the wheels, walking endlessly and mindlessly in this robotic zombie-like state. The people walking toward the wheels are also in this similar state, as if there's no life within their eyes. They're just cold. There's this cold wind-like noise whistling in the background. It looks real, not animated. And as I watch this odd, dark scene, I come to a similar conclusion and ask myself why Nick would have something so live and non-action, really, as the entire scene keeps just repeating itself of more humans walking towards and in these hamster wheels. I start thinking maybe it's just some weird short and it's kind of cool in a dark sort of way. But minutes go by and it starts to get dull watching this same scene not doing anything else. So I quickly change the channel to something else when in a split second I realize, wait a minute, what did I just watch? And change it back immediately only to find SpongeBob mid-episode. You could tell SpongeBob was on for a while, not like the weird short played and it just came on. Freaked out, I keep going back to surrounding channels thinking maybe it wasn't Nick, but nothing has the hamster wheel video on. It felt really dark, almost evil when I watched it, and though it seemed somewhat interesting at first, it started to feel really wrong after a while. So that lined with the repetitiveness of it all made me change it, but now that I realized it wasn't on any channel in the first place, I was really creeped out and still am to this day. I don't know if this was necessarily a shift in reality or something sinister, paranormal, really a short, etc., but I have never been able to research and come up with anything about its existence since, including researching that day online in 2005 when it happened. I'd like to believe it was some dumb film project, but I can't find any evidence of it ever existing in reality as we know it. If anybody knows what I saw, I'd love to be debunked. Still somewhat wary of my TV till this day. I should mention that this was posted on the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, a community which gives credibility to theories like shifts and glitches in reality. But that said, if this particular story really did happen, it raises some very concerning real-life possibilities that are worth considering. The idea of randomly coming across something so deeply unsettling on TV only for it to vanish without a trace is terrifying on its own. However, what makes this particular case even more disturbing is just how many people remember seeing something similar in the past. I'm pretty sure I saw it too. I think I saw part of this. I actually think I remember this. I know I saw it too, though if it was real, how exactly did it happen? Some people tried to explain the weird occurrence with a more mundane answer, suggesting that it might have been an ad that was played at the wrong time, with one person writing, "Sounds like a commercial that glitched through the network." It does happen, but it's pretty rare. May have been an ad for an antidepressant or a PSA. Probably wasn't a broadcast intrusion. However, this theory falls apart quickly when you consider that this happened on Nickelodeon, a kids channel. Any ad or PSA featuring seemingly nude people would have never been allowed on that channel in the first place. Another just as likely theory is that this was the result of a TV hijacking, similar to the infamous Max Headroom incident that happened during a Doctor Who broadcast back in 1987. Kids' channels were frequent targets for these signal intrusions. More importantly, many of these hijackers chose to broadcast explicit or unsettling content after gaining access, similar to what the OP described in their post. As for why there's no information about this hijacking online, a comment from a deleted user shed some light on it, stating, "I'm not sure what happened considering the year, but back in the day, television frequencies often got hacked. It's called a broadcast signal intrusion. Max Headroom is often the case most referred to. However, it is possible in my mind that this was either swept under the rug or not reported considering it was on a kids' channel in a period that was still technically before the popularity of social media. However, even if we assume it was a TV hijacking, that still leaves us with a massive unanswered question. What exactly did the OP see on their screen that day? Was it from a movie or a TV show or something else entirely? One user posted a link to Maytac Chaos, an animated horror short film that shares some similarities to what the OP described in their post. Unfortunately, this likely isn't what the OP saw that day. This short doesn't feature anything even remotely close to walking in a line or running on a hamster wheel. Also, it was released in 2010, a full 5 years after the supposed hijacking. A more recent comment suggested something far more plausible, reading, "Okay, I know this is a dead topic and I don't know if someone already said this before, but do you think it maybe could have been related to anything of those old MacBook Lemmings commercials?" On December 10, 2024, Reddit user SuperHeatRan2 shared a disturbing discovery they made on the RBI2 subreddit. The post read, "Terrifying film found at a thrift store. Found this film photo at my thrift store inside an old Kodak carousel box." Alongside this, they posted a picture of the eerie film strip they found. Now I'm going to have to blur the image as it's a bit too graphic, but it basically shows what looks like an undressed human body lying on the floor between a bed and a wall. The floor is also covered in blood with heavy splatters staining both the bed and the walls. It looks like a picture someone took right after committing an absolutely horrific crime. Most importantly, it looks disturbingly real, far too authentic to be dismissed as part of a horror-themed art project. About 30 minutes later, the OP came back with an update describing their actions after finding the film, which only made it seem even more legit. Reading, "Hello everyone. Sorry I'm on my phone, so I'm leaving an update as a comment. Here's what I did. When I saw the photo, I was curious and pointed into a contrast area to look at it, and my body jolted because I was shocked. I didn't buy the Kodak carousel and just took the photo and went outside. I went to another store next door and called the non-emergency line describing what I saw, and that I felt like it was a genuine photo. They told me they're sending an officer when available. She said she didn't have an ETA. The dispatch person told me if I can wait at the thrift store, and I said yes. I'm waiting in my car, as of now." About an hour after that, the OP posted a second update, this time describing their interaction with the police, stating, "The officer arrived a bit after I posted the update. Him and I looked at the photo, and basically he was just looking thoroughly and asked me where I found it, and I just described where I found it. Then him and I walked to the thrift store and showed him the exact box I found it in. He sent a photo of the film to a coworker and spoke to him on it. He then took down my information and told me that he's going to take it to the people who can properly process the image to investigate it." Now, usually when something like this is posted on the internet, there's a lot of skepticism surrounding its origin. The first thought most people have is that whoever made the post faked either the whole thing or parts of it for online attention. But in this particular instance, the vast majority of people were convinced that the OP was telling the truth, simply because the picture looked a bit too real. They urged the OP to post more information about where and how they found the film, which they complied with by posting pictures of the box the film was in. One person asked for more details. Was that the only image in the carousel? Yes, it's the only image, but it wasn't in the carousel. It was in the middle of the carousel. An hour later, SuperHeatRan also posted a clear picture of the film by using their Apple Watch as a bright backlight. This only confirmed everyone's suspicion that the picture exposed onto the film was indeed real, with one user writing, "This doesn't seem fake. If it is, it's really well done." They further added, "I feel like if it was fake, it would be either more or less gruesome. But there's something about the positioning of the body. The fact that it isn't a more attractive body type, read thin and beautiful for better optics, and the natural pattern of blood on the wall that indicates the victim FUD and didn't die immediately. Visible hand, finger marks on the wall. In addition to smudges and splatter, just doesn't seem like it was some type of dark art project. Obviously, I can't say for sure, but I watch a ton of true crime and fiction crime shows. The difference in brutality and realism of the crime scene photos are easy to distinguish. But if this film strip was real, what was its origin? The carousel containing this film appeared to be from the mid-1980s. In another thread, the OP also mentioned that the film was sticky, stating, "I didn't smell it, but yes, it was sticky as in it would stay on my index finger after pressing on it." This hinted at the old age of the film, as they tend to become sticky when left in a room temperature box for over a decade. So the possibility of it being from the 1980s and early 1990s is certainly high.